Shalom, it's your brother Rashad, coming back at you another quick lesson before I get started. I want to give all praises, glory, infinite honors unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shad, Bahashem, Rachakodash, and double honors to the apostles and the others, the great millstone who taught me this truth and rule well, and Shalom, Rabarakim, Labacharium, which is peace and blessings to the hopefully elect, as well as those that believe in the gospel, and may you endure unto the end, Lord willing. All right. And I just want to get into a quick lesson, all right, on how we have become prey to this society, all right? We have become prey to this society, all right, which you can see the word, okay, it says an animal hunted for food, that which is seized by any carnivorous animal to be devoured. Also figuratively of souls captured by Satan. Also goods taken in the war, booty, animal taken in the chase. All right, when you jump down to the verb, okay, it says to plunder, pillage, or ravage, man. All right, so I'm gonna tie it in, okay, with the scripture, which is Isaiah 59, all right, in verse 15. It says, yea, truth faileth, and he that departed from evil maketh himself a prey. All right. And so this is what we have made ourselves, man. Praise, man. All right. Which is why Yahweh Shai said, behold, I send you forth as a sheep. All right. In the midst of wolves. All right. Let me get that. Forget exactly where it's at. Matthew. Sheep in the midst of wolves. All right. Because a sheep is an animal that's preyed on. All right. Another one, all right, is in Isaiah. I'm gonna try to get that one too. All right, when it says, "Oh Jacob, thou worm." All right, because a worm has what? No defense mechanism. All right, when the birds come and pluck the worms out of the ground, there's nothing that they can do. All right, this Matthew 10:16, it says, "Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves." All right. And sheep, all right, in the midst of wolves are always destined to be what? Attacked. All right. Plundered. Okay. Wolves prey on sheep, man. You see? And like I said earlier, sheep is basically a defenseless animal when it comes to these different other carnivorous animals that prey on sheep. Okay. But you know, saying all that to say this, you know, we of the household of faith, or the hopeful elect, you know, have become prey. All right. Why? Because, you know, we've let go of the things in this world, man. All right. Are the rudiments, all right, the traditions of men, the rudiments of the world, all right, the things that people do in the world, we don't involve ourselves in, all right, or we remove ourselves from the situation, all right. And, you know, ultimately, you know, we've gone cold turkey on everything, man. All right. If it ain't in the truth, you see, we've gone cold turkey on everything, you know, which is why, you know, how we've become a prey. All right. Because what? We stick out like a sore thumb. You know, people ask, oh, why you don't, you know, you got these pepperoni pieces, man. Come get you some, you know. You tell them, oh, I don't really eat pork. Oh, why you don't eat pork? It's just not good for your health. Right? Which is true, okay? But you don't want to say, oh, I'm following the dietary law in the Bible, you know? Which what? It furthers making yourself a prey, right? I say, oh, why you don't never want to do nothing for your birthday, you know? These are things Jake deal with, you know? But you can't sit there and say, oh, you know, you're celebrating your birthday as wicked. Right? In which we've all done it, you know, coming into the truth, you know. But as you get older, you learn to maneuver a different way, you know. People say, happy birthday. You just say thank you, man. You know. You know, just start cursing everybody out, you know, because they, you know, doing things that the world do, you know. You ain't celebrating it, so you good, you know. People tell you Merry Christmas or Happy Thanksgiving. You don't just curse them out, right? Why? Because that makes you more of a bigger target, man. All right. We've already become praised what when we go out on the highways and byways, and we teach this word, right? Which is why Yahweh Shai said, I sent you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves, man. You see, because there's always someone out there that's trying to devour us, right? Someone that's trying to attack us, you see? But this is a part of the truth. This is the part of the ministry, man, you know? Excuse me, all right? But, and it's also ultimately a part of persecution, you know? But I want to get this one in Isaiah, Jacob thou worm, all right? Because a worm has what? No defense mechanisms, man, all right? A worm is ultimately preyed on, you know? It's Isaiah 41:14. It says, fear not, thou worm Jacob, and ye men of Israel, I will help thee, said Yahweh and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel, right? But it says, fear not, thou worm Jacob, you see, because we know our help, all right? The standard that's behind us is Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, right? And we know that he's not going to let nothing happen to us, you know, as something will happen to a normal prey, all right, in the jungle, you see? There's a standard, there's a force, all right, which is the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai that is behind his men, you see? But you still have to understand, all right, that we have been made prey, you know? We are the hunted, all right? Now, as it tells you in Jeremiah 14, that the day is going to come where the fishers, okay, will be the hunted, you know? We'll turn into the hunters, man, all right? When the Lord gives us those spiritual powers, all right, he lifts up that standard, okay? So it's gonna come a time that we won't be the prey anymore. You know, we won't have to be the harmless as doves and you know, wise as serpents. You know, it's just gonna be the point to where we can do what we want to do. You know, and those who devoured us will be devoured, man. You know, but at this point in time, you know, we are still considered prey. All right, we are still considered of those who are being hunted. You know, which is a part of our walk, which is a part of a what? Persecution, man. You see? So this 2 Timothy, and I'm gonna get out of here with this. You know, X. 2 Timothy chapter 3. Verse 12, it says, yea, and all that will live godly in Hamashiach Yahushua shall suffer persecution. You see? The NLT, it says, yes, and everyone who wants to live a godly life in Hamashiach Yahushua will suffer persecution. All right, I wanted to read that Isaiah 59 in the NLT as well. All right. It's Isaiah 59:15. It says, yea, truth is gone, and anyone who renounces evil is attacked. You see? And how much are the men of the Lord under heat, are always under a constant attack? For what? Rebuking evil. All right? It tells you that in, what is that? Galatians. They hated him that rebuked it in the gate. And Salakia for, you know, not having these pulled up. I think it's in Galatians, though. No, it's in one of those letters, maybe Ephesians. They hated him that rebuked it in the gate, and they abhor him, all right, that speak it uprightly. I think it might be in Amos. I think it is in Amos. Maybe Amos 5. Yep. Amos 5:10. It says they hate him that rebuke it in the gate, and they abhor him that speak it uprightly. All right, and when you are instilling righteousness, all right, into yourself, okay, into your household, all right, people are gonna make an enemy out of you for instilling righteousness, man. You know why? Because the world is surrounded, it is immersed in wickedness. You see, so of course, righteousness is gonna be contrary, all right, and they are gonna abhor those who are speaking upright, all right, who are speaking for wanting better for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. All right? And that ultimately does what? It paints a target on our backs, man, you know? Which is why, you know, elder brothers and, you know, apostles always say, Don't go to the job, right? Don't go amongst your people, all right? Trying to be a super Israelite, man, because all you're doing is painting a bigger target on your back, They already hate him that rebuking in the gate. You think our people want to hear, all right, the constant rebuke, because they know what they're doing is off, They know what they're doing is not right. But they don't want to hear that, though, right? Like it says in Jeremiah, they want to be prophesied unto smooth things, man, But that's pretty much the point. I don't want to keep going on and ranting, So with that, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. We give all praises, glory, infinite honors unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rachak Wadash, and dumb honors once again to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings. Shalom, wa barakim, Allah Bacharium. Peace and blessings to the whole